Hello.
Good evening, good evening. Sunday night, it's satsang night with John and Michelle.
Oh, hi everybody. Hope you had a good day.
Yeah, Sundays are not so special anymore because a lot of us are at home all the time. But it's still a sacred day. It's a special day. And hopefully you've had a bit of time off today to chill, relax, become more centered. So this evening we're going to be looking at the very important subject of intuition, the gift of intuition, and it is a gift, it really is a gift. In the world at the moment we have so much information coming at us from all sides. And how do we know what information to trust, what information is true? And what I do is I allow the inner voice, the inner stillness within me to guide me through the pretty treacherous pathway of media that's coming at us. And so tonight we're going to be looking at intuition, and we're going to be looking at how to tap more into intuition, how to discern what is mind and what is intuition.
Yeah, I think intuition is often mistaken, it's often confused. It's a little bit like creativity, which we discussed last week. It's a little bit of a topic of discussion, intuition, because it's a bit misunderstood sometimes. So it'll be nice to have a chat about it. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, we like to know who we're talking to, so if you can just tell us where you're from. It's always nice to know whether you're from South Africa, Cape Town, which country, which city. Just let us know. Just type it out there in the box there. And if you can hear us, just send us a little thumbs up or heart. Oh, we're getting a lot of hearts here. That's lovely. Thank you. We love the hearts. We love connecting with the hearts. And the work that we do here every Sunday night and every Wednesday night is really to open our hearts. That's the main purpose. Yes, we have certain topics that we cover, but what is more important than that is building up a community of like-minded, heart-centered people, because through this we create a channel for love and light to come into the world. It's really, really important at this time to do this work.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
So welcome. You're going to lead us in.
Yeah, so let's start out as we always do by centering ourselves into the present moment, becoming aware of the isness of life rather than the story of life. So withdraw your mind from all other times and all other places and just become centered in your physical body. Feel what it feels like to be sitting on this chair tonight with your back maybe supported by the backrest. Settle down into your body and feel the support of life in this moment for you. Gently shut your eyes. Just become aware of your senses. Become aware of your hearing. Become aware of everything you can feel. If you can feel the ground, the floor under your feet, maybe your hands resting lightly on your lap. Become aware of the gentle in-breath and the out-breath. Become aware of the temperature of the room on your cheeks. And become aware of everything you can hear. Listening to that farthest sound, the faintest sound that you can hear. Not needing to label it or judge it, but just becoming aware in this moment. Finding a stillness inside you right now in this moment. It's a stillness that's aware of your hands resting. It's a stillness that's aware of your feet, the backrest, the breath, the temperature of the room on your cheeks. Allow the thoughts to be there, but become aware of the space between your thoughts. Become aware that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts come into your awareness and they leave your awareness. Focus on that space, that stillness that listens. You are that stillness, that peace. It's a peace that passes all human understanding. It's just an isness It's a resting place. And it's the most sacred place in all of creation. Now take a deep breath in. And sigh out all your troubles, concerns, everything that doesn't serve you in this moment. Just let it go, release it. And as you breathe in now, just become aware of the blue light that's coming into your body as the fresh air that you're taking in. And breathe out the brown, stale air. So now we're becoming aware of the color of blue as we breathe in. And the releasing of the stale air as we breathe out. The releasing, letting go. One last time. Take a deep breath in, blowing your tummy up as you fill your whole body with this beautiful light energy. And just release with a sigh all that no longer serves you. Just let it go, let it go, let it go. And just sit for a moment in the stillness of this moment. Just this moment here now. And feel a sense of gratitude for the space, the sacred space that you're occupying. Feel a sense of gratitude for the opportunity to sit with so many other like-minded people on this Sunday evening. Now gently take another deep breath in, right down to your toes, and up into your head, and then a long, long, long sigh out, and gently open your eyes. And once again, as you do that, just become aware of how you feel in this moment. How does your body feel right now? How do you feel?
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
So intuition. I think a lot of people think that intuition is instinct, and that a lot of people, some sort of special chosen few are intuitive, and that's not true from my experience. I think John's as well. We're all imbued with intuition. It's part of our connection. It's accessed in a calm state. But everybody has the ability to be intuitive and is intuitive. You've just got to connect to it.
Well, we live in a sea of intelligence,
Yeah.
a whole sea of intelligence. Yeah. And, you know, with our rational mind, we can cut them up into small little segments, and we can say, well, there's this intelligence and that intelligence, and we know that there's, 7 different intelligences. Tonight we're going to look at 3 really intelligences, which are subsects of this whole beautiful sea of intelligence. We have a cosmic intelligence. Cosmos means order. So there is an order that permeates all of space, that keeps the Earth where it is, spinning on its axis, the Moon where it is, Mars, Pluto, Jupiter, the Sun. There's an order in our universe, and maybe multiple universes, in our solar system and many other solar systems. And that's one level of order. And that order permeates everything. It permeates every single cell in your body. It permeates every molecule. Every subatomic particle is part of the cosmos. The cosmos doesn't end with the ionosphere. It permeates all of creation. And that intelligence is the same intelligence that gets the sun to rise in the morning. It's the same intelligence that gets a flower to open. It's the same intelligence that gets the flower to turn its face, to face the sun, and then to close gently at night. It's the same intelligence that takes an acorn and produces a magnificent oak tree from it. That's universal intelligence. And then when we come into the human body, we have a mind, and that mind is sort of disconnected from that universal intelligence in a certain way. And within that, we have an instinctual intelligence. We will act on instincts. Animals act on instincts as well. That's their individualized nature. And instincts are really to do with survival. They're to do with keeping you alive. So there are certain responses that you have within the body, and most of them are based on the top of the spine, which is called the reptilian brain, because even reptiles have that fight or flight, that reaction type of intelligence which we have. And that's to keep us alive, and it's a great intelligence. But that is not the intuitive intelligence that we're talking about tonight. Not at all. And generally we react with that intelligence normally through desires and fears. Those are the primary sort of instinctual emotions that we have around that intelligence, that instinctive intelligence. And then we dip down and we come into the emotional and intellectual intelligences that we have. So we have EQ and we have IQ. And those are the two that really run most of us. Now these are individuated intelligences, and it's all about me and mine and my. So it's about my body, it's about my job, my career, my family, my tribe, my religion, my country. These are all me and mine. So that's the IQ and the EQ. And they really work on thoughts. And those thoughts are generally judgmental. They judge hot from cold, good from bad. Right. I want what I don't want.
They're polarized.
They're polarized thoughts. And it's all based on a self-identification. Whether you identify yourself as just a small me, just me, the human being, or me, the white person, or me, the male person, or me, the Christian, or the Buddhist, or whatever. You know, it's a collective or individual, but it's all based on me and other, something around me. And so there's a level of fear in that as well, because when we have that perception of who we are, there's a level of fear, of threat, that can be threatened and taken from us. So all thoughts and emotions are based in that bounded state, bounded on me, mine, and my. And it's most of that is we are reacting in those intelligence to thoughts. So those intelligences are basically based on thinking and thoughts. That's really. Do you have anything?
No, I think it's right.
And then going deeper into emotion, and Michelle is far more eloquent on emotions than I am. But emotions are really felt feelings in the body in reaction to subconscious processes, preferences, expectations that we have in our mind. Majority of those thoughts are unconscious. Almost all of our thinking is done unconsciously, and occasionally a conscious thought bubbles up into our prefrontal cortex of the brain, and we were aware that we had a thought. But there's millions of other thoughts taking place that we're not aware of. But if you want to know what's really going on here, ask your body. Your body will speak your truth. Your body tells you what's going on in your mind through these feelings that we have called emotions. And that's they guide you as to what preferences and judgments that you're filtering reality through with your mind.
Yeah, and I think that in this day and age, when we have so much access to a lot of information coming at us all day, I think that our intuition starts to recede because it just gets drowned out by the noise. And when we're trying to make a decision, I often hear people say, I'm going to make a decision about it, so I've got to, is this my intuition or is this a fear response? If you're asking those questions, then you're not in your intuition, because there's a polarization. So you're going, is that right or that right? Then you're not in that intuitive space, because you're trying to decide with your mind. Whereas the intuitive space, from my perspective, it's a sense of knowing, but not in your mind. It's in your body. It's a feeling of peace. There's no question there. There's not necessarily any rationalization. In fact, You might say something that you want to do something because this is what you just know that you have to do, and other people might disagree. Or they might say, but there's no that's irrational. And it doesn't matter because you know. It's a knowingness, but it's a peaceful knowingness. Whereas when you're in fear, that's not intuition. So, I mean, a few years ago, a long time ago, but 20 years ago, we were mugged in Cape Town. And we went outside, and I kind of saw something flash before my eyes. And I had this gut feeling of don't go outside. Now, that wasn't intuition.
That's instinct.
It was instinct. It was survival instinct. Don't go outside. You're going to get mugged. And we did go outside because my ex decided to go outside, and we did get mugged. But that was instinct. That was survival instinct. Whereas intuition is just, I have this that I'd like to do. Intuitively, I've got to go into a quiet, focused space, and the answer will arise in a body way. It's a feeling of openness and peace, and there's no question. The mind's not there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's quite difficult to explain.
So really,
that's what I would see it
so
as.
really, what we need to do here is we need to identify what is emotion, what is instinct, and what is intuition.
Yeah.
And so, instinct and emotion are both very much about desires and protection and fear. A lot of that is to do with that. Emotion is something that creates the human experience. There's nothing wrong with emotion. Emotion is beautiful. It creates the contrast, as Michelle said. It's polarized. It has positives and negatives. It has ups and has downs.
Exactly.
And that enriches the human experience. That's what it's all about. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's really great. It gives us as I say, the whole human, spectrum of experience, and that's really, really good. Intuition isn't that. So, in the diagram that I have, the matrix, my map of consciousness, we have the horizontal plane, and thoughts and emotions are on the horizontal plane. They are dependent on situations, circumstances, and events. They're dependent upon time, and they are part of the thinking process. So, for example, your religion will influence your emotional response to situations. Your education will influence your emotional response to something, and your thoughts will be woven into that response. Your self-identification, your gender, your race, will all play out through your thoughts and emotions on the horizontal plane, because when you were born, you came into a particular identity. So you were socialized a certain way, you were educated a certain way, you inhabited a certain body, a male or female, white, black, green, whatever body, and that's all on the horizontal plane. The plane that Michelle was referring to there for intuition is the vertical plane. That drops through your story. It's got no story at all. It's got no past and no future. It's got no conditioning in it, no education in it. And so it's a case, I always say that your intuition comes from an isness. It just is. It is like that. Not this is going to happen. Because going is time-based. Where it's going to happen, that is time-based. Intuition is just a knowing. This is what is. And there may be an emotional response after the fact. There will be a thought about the intuition. But the thought about the intuition is not the intuition. The intuition, I used to say, it's the thought before the thought. Because language is very limited, and we can only speak of mind activity as far as thoughts. So if you can think of it, it's the thought before the thought. The real truth, it's the awareness before the thought, if you can think of it that way. And another way of looking at this is if you had a brick wall, and it was face brick, and you could see the actual bricks. Your bricks would be your thoughts and your emotions. But the space between the bricks, which we would call the mortar or the cement, that's intuition. It's a space that allows the thoughts and the emotions to exist in. And it actually holds the whole structure together. So intuition is the basket that holds everything together. But what Michelle said earlier is we become so enamored with the thoughts and with the emotions that that's the only way we see reality. We only see it through the filters of our thoughts and emotions, and we become totally hypnotized. And that's the only way we can see the world. And so this journey of awakening that we are taking, I think, as a species, is to step back into that space between our thoughts. There's a teacher called Michael Singer, and hopefully most of you have read his books, Untethered Soul and the Surrender Experiment. And he talks about having this this roommate on your shoulders, in your head, this roommate that continually comments and judges whatever's going on around it.
Yeah, it's all the time.
You know, it'll say things like, this is a hot day.
Why are you doing that? You shouldn't do that. Maybe you should do that. No, but maybe what if you didn't do that? It's there all the time. And if we were talking out loud, we'd be locked up.
We would be, yeah. If we verbalized all the conversation we have with this roommate on our head, we'd be locked up as mad. So as I said, you know, the roommate will say, you know, when are we going to get there? You know, it's very cold today. Oh, it's so cold. Why do you need a voice in your head to tell you that it's cold? It's cold. You know it's cold. You don't need a voice in their head to tell you all these stories, but it does, and it goes on and on and on. Your roommate, a little secret here, he or she is mad. He's actually mad. So, but the problem is the madness so envelops our awareness. It's so attractive because it's moving all the time, and we are programmed to focus on movement. You know, if you're walking through the bushveld, for example, and something moves, you'll see it because that's we need to know about it. If something's moving, it might be a danger to me, might be a threat to me. So we're really attracted to movement, and our thoughts and our emotions are always moving, and that takes us out of the vertical plane into the horizontal plane. And most people live in the horizontal plane. They live in time all the time.
And most of us think we are the roommate.
There's one, yeah.
Like you are the roommate. Well, you're not the roommate. But you actually do begin to believe that you are the roommate. This voice in your head that goes all the time. Until you realize that you're not. And that it doesn't actually always tell the truth. It's a bit of a lying roommate as well. Very troublesome, rowdy little guy.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't really want in your house if you had the chance. So it's to actually just realize that you're not the roommate. And to drop in. So when I do the workshops the intuitive painting workshops that I do, it's a fascinating environment because most people arrive and they want to know what they're going to achieve and what they're going to paint, and they come sort of with their own conditioning, which is perfectly normal. But, you know, I can't paint, and I was told that I'm not creative, and what are we going to do, and how am I going to do this, and I can't use the materials. And it's just the most incredible thing to see when somebody's able to drop beneath that mind, and you're able to lead them into a process where they're just being guided with the next stroke and the next color and the next thing. As opposed to thinking about the outcome, they're just in the process of letting it unfold. So I sort of see that as an intuitive process because it's not outcome driven. So it's definitely, it's now, it's here. And it's just, there's no thought involved. As soon as the thought goes away, that's when the intuitive knowing arises. But it's subtle. And it can be a very, 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 very small, quiet voice. It can be a feeling, it can be a sensation, it can be a color, it can be something very, very subtle. And if you're not quiet enough, you'll miss it. And if your mind is going hell for leather and your roommates are talking on either side of your head, you're not going to get it. So I think that's why we have to bring ourselves into the present and bring ourselves into stillness. Because in that stillness, your intuition arises. It's not something that you can hunt down and stab to death, you know, and like, I've got it. That's not it. That's
Intuition,
not it.
intuition
It's not
can't
it.
be grasped.
You can't get it. It's
No.
like you can't get God.
Can't get love.
You can't get love. You can't hold it. It's
No.
there and then it's gone. But those moments when it's there, it's irrefutable. You know, you can have somebody standing in front of you saying, "You're a raving lunatic to do that," and you go,
But
okay.
there's a knowingness.
There's a knowingness. Is it absolutely non-negotiable? No left, no right. Just that's it. So it's
So
it's quite subtle too.
yeah. So to know that emotions are all polarized. They polarized good and bad. Emotions you want and emotions you don't want, and they all have a judgment in emotion. Intuition has none of that. Exactly the same as love. Love is not polarized. People quite often believe that the opposite of love is hate. No, it isn't. It's the opposite of love is ignorance. It's just not knowing, because love is all there is. Intuition is the field that holds everything. It is a field of knowingness. But the moment you have to think about it, the moment you have to question it, then you know the mind. The mind is there. The mind is judging. The mind has doubts. So part of connecting with intuition is stepping into a field of trust. Without trust, you can't hear the intuitive mind. You can't hear the intuitive awareness, because it's just too much mind, too much thinking, too much judgment, too much fear. Fear stands for false evidence appearing real. I am what I do, I am what I have, and I am what other people think of me. That's the mind. That's the mind. Intuition is not mind. Intuition is the field that allows the mind to exist. It's the fundamental field that underlies mind, but it's not mind. All mind is polarized. Intuition isn't polarized. So again, I'm going to just go back to what I said earlier. It's the thought before the thought. And it's not even a thought. It's the awareness. It's the knowingness. And you know what Michelle said there? It's so fleeting. It's actually not fleeting. The truth is it's always here. It never goes anywhere. It's like love. Love is fleeting. No, love isn't fleeting. Love is always here. What is fleeting is our awareness of it.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
So the intuitive knowing is always here. And the stiller we become, the more we can directly connect with that intuitive knowingness and live our lives from there, rather than living our lives from this troublesome roommate that's generating our thoughts and our feelings. And as Michelle said, you know, some of us have 2-3 roommates up there, all in conversation, all arguing with each other, you stupid, and criticizing and judging. This intuitive awareness is such a still place, and every thought that you have creates a ripple that obscures it. So we need to learn to become more trusting and more still, as I say, more aligned with the vertical plane, which is the isness of life, rather than the story of life. This has time attached to it, and preference, and fear, and anxiety, and regret, and anger. This has none of that. In the vertical plane, on the other hand, there is that which can't be grasped, which we mentioned: love, joy, peace, fulfillment, bliss. These are all, they can't be held on to. You can't hold on to bliss, but you can align your awareness with it. And another word to describe the vertical plane is life. When you're aligned with life, you're aligned with your intuitive knowingness. When you're aligned with the story of life, you're disconnected from that intuitive knowingness. Life never goes anywhere. You are alive. You always have been alive. You will always be alive. You may have this body, and next year you get another body as it ages. And maybe you've got a physical body, maybe you have an unphysical body, but you always are alive. You cannot not be alive, because you and life are one. Everything in the vertical plane is one and the same. So when we use the word love, and we use the word life, and we use the word peace, and we use the word intuitive knowingness, it's all one and the same. You are that, while pretending to be human, by pretending to have this time-based linear experience on a horizontal plane. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's great. It's like, you know, as I said, the film in the cinema. You know, it's great to have the experience of the film, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you believe you are in the film, that's mad. As long as you know that you're sitting here and experiencing the film, you're sane.
I think a lot of people also get confused about whether, so let's just say you have an idea that you want to do something, and then you feel that it's the right thing. So I'll hear people say, and I've said it myself, I intuitively feel that this is the right thing. But then it's followed by a sort of a kind of a queasy feeling in your stomach, or an anxiety. And then there's a confusion there as to, well, which is my which is my intuition? Is my intuition right that I should be doing this? Or is this right, this fearful feeling that said I shouldn't be doing it? And I think the fear response is more the ego response, which is very, very often kicks in when you're about to do something where you're stretching yourself. So very often when you're doing something which is going to require you to stretch and to take a risk and to do something that you've never done before, you might have a very clear knowing that that's what you've got to do, and then get hijacked by this gut-wrenching fear, which actually stops you from doing it. And I know a lot of people who get stopped at that point. And I know myself, I've actually questioned it until I've started to understand that as soon as that fear kicks in, that's not intuition. That is not intuition. It's the ego mind telling you stories about why you shouldn't do it that is kind of invested in you not doing it. So it's actually to just see that, because it so often stops us from doing it. And I get clients saying it all the time. I really want to do this. I really want to do this. But then I wake up in the morning and I feel fearful. That's not your intuition. That's your fear. So it's, I don't know if
that's
you've
your
got
mind,
something to...
yeah. And that's why in this process of awakening, because an awakened living means that you live from this intuitive awareness. You live from a knowingness. Not needing time, you just know. And part of the awakening process is that, which I spoke about earlier, trust. When you trust not in your thoughts, not in your expectations, not in your hopes, not in your dreams, you're not trusting that other people will do this or do that, or that the government will do this or the weather will do. That's not the trust that I'm talking about. Trust is when you stand on the rock of presence, knowing that in this moment all your needs are met. Not your wants, not your desires. Without trust, you can't, it's very difficult to surrender your mind to hear intuition. Because intuition comes from a surrendered mind. It comes when your mind is completely blank. For most of us, just a brief moment. Oh, my mind went blank, this intuitive, and then the mind starts questioning that reality that you knew in that moment to be true, but then the mind questions it and talks you out of it. Have you ever been talked out of stuff before?
Yes.
Yeah, it happens all the time. And that's where the mind comes in. But more and more as you start to live in presence, so you stand on this rock of isness, which is life. So as Jesus said, you've got to dig deep, and you build your house on the rock of life, which is presence. The more you do that, you know that there's nothing real can be threatened. Nothing real can be threatened. That nothing real can ever be harmed. Only that which is on the horizontal plane can be taken from you. But life cannot be taken from you. Love cannot be taken from you. Peace cannot be taken from you. Why? Because it's not something you have to be taken. It is who you are. It is your core. It's your beingness. So this process of living your life from an intuitive basis is a process of awakening. It's awakening to who and what you really are, and awakening to what is real, as against what is transitory, what is changing in time. Time does not affect this intuitive knowingness. It's just there. Where every thought and every emotion that you have is based in time, comes and goes and is polarized. So you can think of the horizontal plane being waves of ups and downs. Ups and downs. Everything has positive and negatives contained with it.
Good, bad.
And I can
Good,
do this
happy,
or
sad.
that. You know, it's you have all these options. In the vertical plane, there is no option. It's just an isness. Love just is. Peace just is. Stillness just is. And that's when you start to connect with this underlying intelligence that pervades the whole universe. And that's your intuitive knowing. And Albert Einstein said that we have within us a sacred gift of intuitive awareness. He said we also have this faithful servant, which is the rational mind. He said we've created a whole society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. And I believe that we're going through these times of massive change and uncertainty on purpose, so that we have to start coming back to the sacred gift rather than the servant of the rational mind, because there's too many variables, too many unknowns for the rational mind to give us a game plan, to give us a predicted outcome. But when you come into the present moment and you are able to, one of the ways of doing that is you take a deep breath in and you breathe out. Now, I said earlier that the gateway into intuition is a surrendered mind. And what is the out breath? What is breathing out but surrender? So when you breathe out, you're letting go. Now, if you're letting go in fear, that's not going to take you there. When you're letting go in trust, that in the next moment there will be air for you to breathe in again. And in this moment of breathing out, that all your needs are taken care of. That's the portal that leads you into this intuitive knowingness. And that's a far more intelligent way of living your life than based in fear and anxiety. And emotions, must understand that emotions, which are often confused with intuition, most emotions are toxic. And they take your body out of its natural homeostasis. They take your body out of balance. Almost all emotions take you out of balance. And what we need now is a heightened immune system, for example, with virus, whatever, and there's probably many more viruses coming. And we need to boost our immune system. How do we do that? Do we do it by worrying? No, we do it by coming into that homeostasis. We balance the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. And that we do by coming into alignment with life. And that boosts your immune system, but it also boosts your intelligences. All your intelligences improve as you become more centered, as you become more peaceful, as you become more centered. Yeah. So this works on many different levels. And I would suggest that intuition, it's the intuitive awareness that will lead us to find solutions in these times that we're going through. Not so much the rational mind, because the rational mind is a programmed mind, programmed by past. And what we need now, and quote Albert Einstein again, he said we can't solve the problems from the same level of thinking that we were at when it was created. We have to go to a new level of awareness. And that's the one that we are pointing towards this evening.
Sorry, there's a couple of people saying they're experiencing issues with the recording, or Trevor says there's a problem with there's interruptions. Just anybody else? Carol says it's fine from Gauteng. So I don't know if it's our side or your side, Trevor. I think there was Cassie as well. We're going to carry on, and we are going to record it and put it on YouTube. So
yeah, we will load the YouTube later up this evening, so that if you're not able to hear all that we're saying now, and it is an important conversation, I feel, that we're having here, because we are opening the door to a very different way of living. And so if you're missing it, if you're not able to hear all that we're saying, we will put it up on YouTube, and you can then listen to it later.
Yeah, and we'll put it onto Facebook, so it'll be back up here. Yeah, so it's a beautiful subject to actually to test your intuition. Start to get in touch with it. Start to feel, this is intuition. Oh, that's my mind. This is fear. This is peace. Okay. So if you're needing to make a decision, or you're trying to do something, you've got to get a sense of what feels peaceful, I suppose.
Yes,
in a sense, it's I always go back to the art thing, because it's such a good teacher. But when you're actually painting, for example, a process painting, which means that you're not painting for an outcome, it's quite, in a way, it can feel a bit daunting, because you don't know where you're going with it. It's a bit like where we find ourselves now, which is why art's a metaphor for life, and it's practice. Because none of us know where we're headed with this thing. And in a painting or an art piece or music or dance, you're not headed to the outcome. You're headed to this next step, this next moment. And the most incredible thing happens when you're able to do that. And when your mind gets in the way, very often in a class, I'll say to the person, move, shift your perspective, turn around, stand upside down, go quiet, and then pick up the paintbrush again. And then you just know, when you make that next brush stroke, that's the stroke. And then your mind will come in again and say, but what's the next one? You can't use that color. Then you know, it's the mind. It's okay, mind, I'm fine here on my own without you. You can go and have a cup of tea. I'm going to make this next brush stroke. So art's like life. So if you do that with life, and you notice the thoughts. Yeah, I know you. I know that you're fearful of me doing this because I'm putting myself out there in a way that's not comfortable for the ego. But not right now. Right now, I'm actually tuning in and I'm going with this. So in order to identify those, you've got to know what's going on inside you. And you've got to be quiet enough to listen.
Yeah.
And it's very often when you step away from it that your intuition just is there. The knowingness, the isness is there without any effort.
So the tools are always there to tame the mind,
Yeah.
so that you can get into, as we said earlier, to get into the gap between your thoughts. So what Michelle said was from an intuitive art point of view, is you turn around, you physically turn your body around. Now in that state, where's your focus? It's actually on not falling over. It's right in this moment. You're not worried about what you're going to do next. You're confused because you're turning around, and that gets your mind out of the way. So the techniques to get into intuition, which we're going to talk a bit about now, are all techniques to get you out of your mind, to realize that the only thing that blocks you from this incredible intelligence called the intuition, which, going back to what Albert Einstein said, is a sacred gift that we all have, is your mind. And your mind is mind and emotion, so we put them both together. And so what are the tools that we can do?
Well, definitely quietening down, there's no doubt. Stillness. So, as often as you can, because even if it's in the middle of the day and your mind is going mad and you've got your both roommates in each ear, to just go quiet and to just take a few deep breaths, to connect with the senses, to connect with your body. That's the first one.
The first one is the breath, which we did to start this evening. So it's to connect with the reality as it is now. Because when you connect with life is always still. Life is always here and always quiet and always still. When you connect with life, then you immediately connect with that intuitive awareness on a clearer basis. So the breath takes you into alignment with life, because life is always giving you the breath. So the moment you focus on what life is giving you, you become aligned with life. The acronym for that is OWL, one with life. A very wise way to live your life. So it takes one conscious breath, one breath taken with full attention, with full focus of your awareness, and you come into alignment with that space through which the intuitive awareness can flow.
And it sounds almost too simple that you can come back into alignment with one or two breaths, but you can, and you do, because breath is life. So the minute you connect with that breath and you're connecting with that's just there all the time, it just brings you in. It's like you drop in. It's sort of you drop into that place. So it's a dropping in.
It is a dropping into. It's not a going to. You're not going to go to your intuitive awareness. You actually come back to your intuitive awareness. The same way when you're breathing and you breathe out, when you breathe out, you are coming back into alignment with your body. You're not going anywhere. You are dropping back into that. And another tool, so the breath is a very powerful tool for stilling the mind, to come into that space between your thoughts. And the other one is listening, which we did to start this evening. When you listen without judging, without labeling, when you purely listen, you have to become quiet.
Yeah.
And that quietness is it. That stillness within you that truly listens without any words attached to what you're listening to. That is the doorway that opens up your alignment with life. And that's the doorway through which intuitive knowing comes. Mm-hmm. And as Michelle said earlier, the intuitive knowing doesn't come with any emotional attachment. It comes with peace. It comes just with an isness. It's an isness. That's intuition. If it comes with a positive or negative, that's not your intuition, that's emotion. It's either emotion or your instinctual awareness.
Yeah, and I think there's also another side to it. I think that we also have we can ask for help from our higher selves, from a higher power. We can ask for help and open to that. And then be open to that, surrender to that. And it does come when we ask. It's just there. And it could be a knowingness, it's just an opening that you feel. And with that opening, there's a knowingness. And we're not alone in this. We can ask for help. But we very often don't, because we're so busy with the steering wheel in our hands trying to actually control everything, thinking that we have to control everything, that we don't ask for help. So I think that's another thing to do, is to actually say, look, I've done all I can do here. I need help. Help me. And surrender it. Hand it over. Give it up. If you've done everything you can do, give it up. You know, there's only a certain amount that we can all do. In this situation that we find ourselves in, none of us know the future. So you can hang out in the future if you like, but that's going to just drive us all dilly. So it's just to say, I'm doing as much as I can do, and the rest I'm surrendering.
And don't ask your mind to surrender. Your mind will never surrender. No. Your mind will bring out the white flag and wave it over here and say, look, God, I've surrendered. Now give me what I want. That's the mind's way of surrendering. It's a manipulative surrender. It's a partial surrender. Now, what Michelle said there is surrender. You actually completely give up. You give up. And what Michelle also mentioned there was that there are higher powers. And obviously, the word that we use for the highest, purest energy that there is, we have a word called God, which has been very much misused. But I still like that word because it has a sense of sacredness in it. But the word is that God speaks to us in stillness.
Yeah.
All else is a bad translation. Intuitive awareness comes to you in stillness. All else is a bad translation of that intuitive voice. So listen to the quietness. And the tools that we've given you so far, the tool of breathing and the tool of listening, bring you back into that stillness. And another tool that we can give you with this evening, which we've done already, which we did in the beginning, is to drop into your body. Your body is aligned with this intuitive awareness. So by bringing your awareness into your body, being aware of what does your body feel like in this moment? What does it feel like to sit on this chair right now? Can you actually feel the sensation coming into your bum right now? Just sit there for a moment and bring your awareness into the sensation of where your body meets the chair. Feel that sensation. And in order to do that, you found you dropped from your head into your body, didn't you? And your thinking mind actually became quieter in that moment to pick up that sensation, because that sensation was coming into your mind all the time, but you weren't focused on it because you had a bit of noise going on upstairs. So in order to hear, to feel what's going on in your body, your mind has to become quiet. So the three tools that we are giving you this evening to connect with your intuitive awareness. Number one, breathe. One conscious breath. And when you breathe, another tip there is to make your out-breath twice as important as your in-breath, because your out-breath is a surrender. The second tool we gave you was listening. Without labeling, just Listen. Be the stillness that listens. And the third one is be in your body. Be aware of the sensations in your body right now. To do that, your mind becomes clear.
Yeah, and I'd like to just add a couple of things as well in addition to that, is that if you have got a lot of static going on in your head and a lot of noise and you're overwhelmed with the noise of the environment and what's coming at you, clear that. So if you're trying to connect with your intuition and you've got so much going on in your head, the breath will usually work, but if it doesn't, get it out. So for some people, journaling, writing it all out really does work. It's like clearing the windscreen. So write, get all of those, get that stuff out. Clearing your space can actually help. So just clearing your space so that you're not cluttered, you don't feel cluttered, you don't feel full. Those things can actually help to clear the way so that you connect more easily. So they're just little things, but they are important. Yeah. So those also can help. And obviously any form of art, dance, music, poetry, painting, sculpture, those things will all bring you into that state of presence, at which point the intuition arises out of that. That's my experience. So those things always work as well. And sometimes exercise can actually also clear. So if you're feeling very, very, very overwhelmed, staticky, full, go for a walk, get out, move, come back, have a shower, and you'll clear yourself. Standing under a shower, using the shower, bringing that water over you, and actually with the intention of it clearing you. That also helps. So just, intuitively come up with ways to connect with your intuition, because it's there, it's just waiting for you.
So you drop down into your intuition, you drop down into it. And there's one word that covers all the tools that we've said so far, and that is meditation. Meditation means no mind. Yeah. And I would suggest that we all start our day with a formal meditation. So take half an hour or an hour every morning to start your day with some sort of spiritual connection with that stillness. Make a commitment to start investing 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour or an hour to that sacred stillness first thing in the morning. That will serve you well throughout the day. And it's amazing, particularly if you, what I do is I have a little notebook, and when I meditate, I have that notebook with me, because these quiet insights that come through meditation need to be written down, because they're not in your logical mind. They're not going to go into memory. They need to be written down. Yeah. So I'm going to, I think, ask Michelle now to lead us through a centering meditation to bring us more into this alignment with our intuitive awareness. Would you like that? Mm-hmm. Shall we do that?
Okay. All right, so just get comfy and I'm going to lean forward a bit so you can hear me, because my voice tends to get a bit soft. So just breathing in, taking a nice deep belly breath in, and a releasing breath out. And on the next out breath, just drop your shoulders. So breathing in, big belly breath all the way up to your chest. And on the out breath, drop your shoulders. Another deep breath in. And a big sigh on the out breath. Just letting it all go, letting the day melt away. And just connecting very gently with your breath. Not forcing it, not trying to make it anything other than what it is. Just noticing it. That's it. Just connecting with the breath coming into your nostrils and possibly out of your mouth. Notice what happens when you extend the out breath. So you make the out breath longer than the in breath. So we could breathe in for 4 And breathe out for 6. With the intention of relaxing more on every out-breath. Just becoming quieter and quieter, softer and softer, releasing more and more. Just imagine a beautiful lilac-colored light, like a waterfall of light, flowing in through the top of your head. And let that light come all the way through your head. Let it fill your head up with this beautiful, slightly sparkly lilac light. And let it clear out all those cobwebs. Let it clear out those roommates for a bit. And then let that light soften your face. Soften your jaw, the little muscles around your eyes. Bring that light now down through your neck, softening your neck, down into your shoulders, softening your shoulders, dropping them more. Let that beautiful lilac light come all the way down through your hands, through your arms, into your hands, and see if you can connect with the energy that you feel when you put your awareness on your hands. And just stop there for a second. Just feel that energy, that life force that pulses through your body with no doing on your part whatsoever. And now bring that beautiful lilac light down through your torso, front and back, going all the way down through your spinal cord and your vertebra, all the way down into your hips, pelvis, buttocks, down through your legs, into your feet and into the earth. And let that lilac light open up a space inside you. Imagine a column of light going from above your head to beneath your feet. And it's a clear column, free-flowing, vertical, very solid, very there. Now imagine just dropping your awareness. Take your awareness to your head and imagine dropping your awareness down through your head, through your neck, and imagine that awareness falling like a soft leaf in the middle of your heart. Just dropping there, very quietly, very softly, just resting right in the middle of your heart. And just notice right now how you feel in this moment. Connecting with your heart. Just seeping in the peace. And if any thoughts come, just notice them and let them go. And reconnect with your heart. Feel what it feels like in your body to just be here now. Feel the release and the relief just being, surrendered. And in this moment, from this place, if you have any thoughts or worries or concerns or anxieties, just imagine sending them up that column, all the way above your head and out into the universe. Just send them up, give them up, and return to your heart. Return to the moment. And now taking a nice deep breath in, gentle breath, and a relaxing, releasing breath out. And another one, another deep breath in. That's it, and out. Let's do a third one. Deep breath in, relaxing breath out. Just coming back into the room, connecting with your body. You don't have to move around, stay in this quiet place. You'll sleep better if you stay in this quiet place. Set an intention of doing this throughout your waking life. When that troublesome roommate shows up, just reconnect with your breath. Reconnect with this moment. Drop in to this moment. And that's where your guidance will come from. And when you're ready, you can gently start to open your eyes.
That was beautiful.
Good.
Thank you. That was nice. Wasn't that beautiful? Did you enjoy it?
John, you're going to pick a card today.
Well, we're going to give you one final gift for the evening, and that's an affirmation card for you to take with you into the new week. And let's see what we choose tonight. I'm going to choose a purple card.
One.
Shall we do that?
Yeah.
Let me just see what this one is. I choose right now to be here with God in presence. I choose right now to be here with God in presence. So when I use the word God, I use the word rather presence. Presence is the divine. So to be here right now with presence. Just take that with you. I'm going to put this affirmation up on the Journeys to Awakening WhatsApp group. You're all welcome to join. You just go on to journeysofawakening.com and there's the link there to the group, and you can join that.
Let us know how you are. Let us know, how you feel right now. It was lovely having you. We're seeing some hearts here.
Yeah, thank you. And those of you who are with us on the Journey to Freedom course, that's a 12-week course that we're doing. Tomorrow night we have the Zoom meetup at 7 o'clock. Please just see that you have that in your diary. And otherwise we'll see everyone on Wednesday night for our satsang on Wednesday night. It's a half hour. We just do a little bit of teaching, mainly meditation. And that's this Wednesday night at 7:30 South African time.
Beautiful. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. And thank you all for joining us. It's a wonderful energy. I can feel that energy of love that we have. Can you feel that energy?
Yeah.
Take that energy of love with you and send it out into the world. Be a channel for the light. Good night.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Right.